Welcome to the F1 Debate Show. We talk about a new concept for cockpit protection.
We talk about Honda powering Sauber in 2018.
Can you believe that the F1 Debate Show has got to 50 episodes? I mean, that is unbelievable.
Not on them jokes.
I know, wow. But anyway, yeah, 50 episodes. I mean, obviously, that's unbelievable for us. We're very happy, but I hope you are very happy out there as well. Anyway, we're going to crack on to this episode, our 50th, so it's pretty special. Even though you think, obviously, 52 is a year, so we're a few behind. So get that mentality out your minds, because obviously we know that
season, it's a miracle.
I know, God, we should be on episode 5 if we were so lucky. Anyway, getting cracked on with this episode, and the first thing that we're going to start off with is obviously that the FIA tribunal met in Paris the other day with the strategic group and the F1 Commission to discuss safety precautions and basically, discuss F1, a bit like what we do. Probably do a bit of higher standards though. Yeah. Anyway, but the first thing on their agenda, as it has been for about 2 years now, obviously since what happened, obviously with the Les Jours Bianchi, was obviously cockpit protection and things like that, protecting the drivers. And obviously we've discussed it a lot in depth. Obviously we've discussed things like the Halo cockpit and the Red Bull canopy. And obviously our kind of quick conclusion from obviously talking about it was obviously that the Halo cockpit was pretty bad, was rubbish almost, because obviously they tested it, and obviously that the Red Bull canopy was good. And obviously we don't want to see that. It should be open wheeled and fast. But we've talked about that many times. But we did think that the Red Bull canopy, was going to be like the thing to stay in Formula 1. And we thought that was going to happen. Anyway, basically, that the discussion is obviously that the FIA have to do some safety tests, which obviously means that has to kind of work to they're different tests really. You have to test it in and out and see that it actually worked there. Anyway, they've come to the final product and said that basically it is not going to work. It's failed the safety tests. So then they've been thinking, well, we've got to bring in something else. We've got to bring in something else to put in this place, because obviously, as Martin Brundle has said, we're past the point of no return with cockpit protection. It doesn't matter how much you kick and scream about it. It doesn't matter how much you don't want to see it in Formula 1 and you think that a helmet is enough, or you think all the protection that they have is enough. It is going to happen, and it's going to be most likely for next season. Well, obviously the Halo and the Red Bull, that's what they wanted for next year, next season. And the one that they've come up with, the FIA have come up with a design, and basically it's called the shield, the safety shield. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what is a safety shield? Is it from North Shields or South Shields, where actually Sir Frank Williams was born? South Shields. Don't say the F1 Debate Show doesn't tell you some facts and a half.
Full facts.
So South Shields were him. Anyway, but basically the safety shield. Okay, so the safety shield is basically their kind of design. It's been designed obviously by a few people, motorsport.com, and it's also been designed by this Italian man whose name is, or I think it's a man anyway, called Giorgio Riola. I think I got that right. Obviously he's designed this design, and obviously he's shown it to the FIA and things like that, and they're very happy. So basically the design is almost like it's a shallower angle of the Red Bull canopy. Okay, so obviously just a few little designs to be able to go and find pictures on the internet. There should be a picture on the screen at the moment to basically go along with what I'm saying. Basically it is the Red Bull canopy that's moved forward and at a very shallower angle. So obviously it covers most obviously from where the radio antenna is, and obviously where it dips down into the front wing and the nose, all the way back, and just stops in front of the cockpit. And basically the biggest reason for this is because that the Red Bull canopy, it didn't allow the driver to have a fast exit. What happens is obviously in the FIA safety test, you've got to get out of the cockpit in 5 seconds, and you've also got to replace the cockpit and basically get it into park firm position with obviously steering wheel in, and obviously all the different shoulder guards and that in place in a further 5 seconds. Obviously all that should be done in 10 seconds. Now basically the drivers couldn't do that, along with the Halo cockpit. So those two designs were almost a big fail because of other things like the car flipping over. And basically we've discussed, we're going over all ground at the moment, but they didn't work because of that. This allows the driver to be completely freed in the cockpit. He can get out whenever he wants, if the car sets on fire or flips over or anything like that. And basically the design shows that the driver can have a fast and speedy exit if and when he needs to. So obviously that is the design at the moment. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well it hasn't been fully designed yet. It isn't on a car yet. So what's the point in this, and how is it going to be in place for next season? Well, obviously what they're going to do is now they're going to basically a bit like the Canopy Cockpit. I know it was Red Bull's idea, but obviously they were adamant to get it on the car. It was leaked forward from the FIA, which means that Red Bull kind of beat everyone to it, and then they thought, well, hang on a minute, if we make this first, teams might have to buy our design and stuff like that, and we can make a bit more, of that green stuff that we all like. Money.
Money.
And so obviously, it's open there now. Obviously, I don't know if other teams are going to make. I don't know if the FOM's going to make a kind of a design that everyone has to make and things like that. But basically, and it's not announced what race it's going to be at, but basically it's going to be in races. Race weekends to be tested soon. It's going to be tested on different free practice sessions through the season, and if it's successful, it will be in place for the 2018 season. Now, Jordan, I know we've said this for a very long time, and as Martin Brundle said, we're past the point of no return with this cockpit protection. And they did the Halo, that failed, and that was at the start of last year, so we're going back a long way. That was tested a good few times, and if you also remember, Friday, the FP1 session in the 2016 Russian Grand Prix was actually the first time that they tested the Red Bull canopy. So again, other testing, and then now that's come to light that's failed. So basically, a season onwards from Red Bulls, and a season and a bit onwards from the Halo cockpit. And they're not anywhere closer to finding a solution. But do you actually think that this shield thing, this shield concept that they've come up with, and by the way, that isn't even on a car, isn't even materialised at the moment, is actually gonna one work, two look good, and agree with the fans and stuff like us? And do you think it's actually going to work? And do you think this concept is actually going to be on the cars by 2018?
Well, if it all goes well, then it will be, because yes, Martin Brundle is right. It is going to happen at some point, whether it's next year or the year after. We are going to have cockpit protection, which is bad for Formula 1. It's bad as an image as well. But on the other side, we don't want to see drivers die in Formula 1. You know what I mean? It should be some sort of law against that, because it is horrible to see. And we don't want to see people getting injured as well. So again, obviously, safety side of things, you've got to look after the drivers. But from what I've seen from this shield design, I don't get the point of it. I really don't. It's not protecting the driver's head. It's not protecting the driver's body or anything. It's just basically something that's in the way, I guess. As we said, we haven't really seen the full design on a proper car, so we don't know what it's going to look like. The FIA haven't really said what is the point of it really. No one's actually got into proper depth into it. So this is only early days. This is like a beta test really. So once the season goes ahead, probably about halfway through the season, I would say, that's when we'll probably start seeing this new shield design on the cars. But obviously it is planned to be in place for 2018. I would have preferred to have gone with Red Bull's design, even though yes, okay, the driver can't get out of the car within the 5 seconds. You know what I mean? But I thought that design looked really neat. It looked really cool. Much better than the Halo design. I always thought that was a rushed design. They thought, right, let's quickly design something, get it on the car, let's see what it looks like, and obviously put it out there and thought, okay, this isn't really how we kind of planned it. And obviously Red Bull said, oh look, we'll design this, and the FIA just went, no, we're not using that. No, not a chance. Obviously, okay, try and get the car within 5 seconds with that. You can't. Which yes, it's right, but and obviously now this design, actually, the question I think everyone's going to ask for every single concept design that the FIA throws at Formula 1 teams is, would that have saved Jules Bianchi? That's the question everyone's going to ask. And for this design, no. For the Red Bull design, possibly, because it's over the head. That design, it's not even close. It doesn't go over the head unless they add something to it that might, so obviously that guy designed it. So might go, okay, let's add something else to it and see how it goes. So hopefully this isn't like a full-on design. This is just a bit of this is a rough idea. Let's send it out there and let's see if we can actually improve it, or maybe test it on the car, then go away, at the winter or at the summer and design it, and then redesign it. Let's say bring it back in the next season or the second part of the season, test it out again, and hopefully the second design will work. But as I said, there's nothing really to it. There's nothing really, I don't think it will help the driver in any sort of way. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would agree as well. I just don't see the point of it. I really, really don't. You know what I mean? Like, so yes. I mean, do you think it would save a driver's life, Lyle? Would it have saved Jules Bianchi?
Probably not. I mean, obviously, it is obviously to prevent injury and obviously to prevent anything like that happening again. You have to look at other things as well. I mean, obviously things like Fernando Alonso's crash in 2016, Kimi Raikkonen's fire in Australia, just different things. Obviously, Kimi Raikkonen, he had a fire last year in Australia, and just in the car. Kevin Magnussen had a fire. I think it was during practice session, just in Malaysia. That was quite a big one, actually. That was quite a big example that they used. Because obviously, remember, he had to, obviously, it caught fire like it does, really fast, and he had to get out, fast, and he had to jump out. And you think it just comes back to different things. I mean, we are going over old ground. We have talked about things like that, like, will a driver be able, like, would Fernando Alonso be able to get out? Would like, obviously from his crash in 2016 in Melbourne, would things like that be able to? But I mean, I'm really not sure. But like Martin Brundle said, I know obviously I've like seen a very big documentary on that about him. But if it looks bad, which these designs do, Formula One is supposed to be the pinnacle of motorsport, and you kind of have something on that like looks, a bit flimsy and not right. And Red Bull's actually looked okay, but it still wasn't right. There was photos obviously of Daniel Ricciardo getting into the car, obviously, as I say, this time last year, testing out the design, and that did look terrible. When Jordan and me went to Silverstone on the FP1 session, they were testing the Red Bull canopy again, and I don't think we saw too much of it. Actually, they only did about 2 laps, but still, if you it did, you could just tell when it was on there because it just looked bad, and there was photos of it. It just doesn't look bad. It's Formula One, it's got to look right, but obviously it's a driver safety that they're putting it, that they're trying to protect. So it's if it's safety above everything, it will be in, but in terms of safety, I've got to say, I mean, it is a hard thing to say. Will this I mean, there's loads of loopholes in it. I mean, obviously, we're not that like technological. We're not that advanced to comment on things. Like, we're not on the FIA board, so we kind of go and make like decisions on is it right, is it wrong. But I mean, I don't know. Just from a fan's point of view, I mean, we are trying to be like the voice of what you guys will say. And I know what you guys will say. You'll look at that photo and you'll be like, okay, well, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, and it's just not right. And also as well, I mean, you think, no offense to the FOM, but come on, guys, you are like supposed to be the most intelligent people in the world, and you come up with this idea. It's like, it is like the Halo Cup, and as like Jordan said, it's rushed. You've got to spend a lot of time on this. You've got to listen to the fans, which again the drivers said when they were hearing about the cockpit protection. You've got to listen to the fans, see what they want. I don't know what's going to happen anymore, and it is going to happen. It's inevitable. We've said that it is going to happen. We're not saying that no cockpit protection should happen. We're not saying that at all. But I kind of see it's this, and I think Jordan agrees also that, I mean, it can't be this. Jordan said also that it should. Well, he likes the Halo the canopy cockpit better than the Halo cockpit. Is that what you're saying, John? So basically, let's say you were Charlie Whiting, or the person obviously who is in charge of bringing in these safety precautions, would you pick the canopy over the Halo cockpit?
Yes. Well, I mean, the Halo design was just literally pointless. I mean, throw back to Monaco 2016 when Jens Button's car got hit by that drain cover in Monaco, if you remember. Everyone said at the time, obviously, I think we just tested the Halo cockpit. Obviously, that was early days, and everyone would have said that would have hit him. You know what I mean? And I think when we were at Force India, I think someone asked that question about the Halo cockpit design, and he said, if anything like long, or I think he said, were to come and swing towards the driver and hit the front of the Halo, the Halo shield, it would actually probably flip. Like, obviously hit the front, hit the little bar, flip round, and then hit the driver. If it wasn't there, it could have went over his head. I think he said something like that, didn't he? So again, I mean, it wasn't really fully protecting the driver. You know what I mean? If anything were to come down like that, it would still hit the driver. You know what I mean? There is a lot of room there because the driver has to get out. So, but that's the thing though. Like with the with the Halo, it had its little good points, but had its flaws. With Red Bulls, it was, I thought it was brilliant, me. And then obviously when they said that we can't do it because of that, I was like, right, fair enough. But I was like, why can't they just like maybe look at Red Bull's design and go, right, what can we do with that and make it that bit better, instead of making this thing that goes across the front of the car. I don't know what the F1 drivers have to say about that. I don't know if anything's been said, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be looking at that going, that's not going to save my life. I'm a bit uncomfortable. Then I don't want to start rumours here, but maybe drivers will go, right, if that's the FIA's idea of keeping us safe, I don't want to race in Formula 1 anymore. I want to go elsewhere. So again, that might not happen, but that's something that I might throw out there, throw the spanners into the works. But no, I think what they should do is that they should get Red Bull's design, mold it a bit, design it, try and improve it, and then go from there. I would say, because this design for me, it's just no good in my honest opinion. Obviously, as ever, guys, let us know your opinions on that. But for me, probably for Lyle, not good enough at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Of course, I agree. I think it was clear that we just don't think it's right. It's also it's a visibility, it definitely is a visibility problem as well, because obviously they've got the helmets to go through, but obviously they've also got something else to look through. There's loads of different problems with that, but yeah, it will be definitely interesting to see what the drivers will say about that. Just one last thing, also on what was decided on the other day in Paris, which you'll be happy to hear, which obviously is the T-wings or the shark fins and the shark fins on the Formula 1 cars will be banned from next year. Basically, there's been no massive reason around this. It's just not liked at all. So obviously from 2018 you will not see them on the cars, which a lot of people turned against. I know, I'm sorry to hold it up. I'm sorry to say, but I liked, and I still do like. It looks good. They look nice. I've got to say, they do look nice. With a shark fin.
I think the only one that I would accept is the Mercedes one.
Yeah.
The Mercedes looks lovely. And Toro Rossos. The rest of them look rubbish.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that. I don't get the T-wings.
Yeah.
They ruin it.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I know what you mean.
I see where fans are coming from.
Yeah. But I'll say it's to improve the image of Formula 1. But obviously that's some good news anyway that came out of Paris. Obviously the cockpit protection, make of it what you will. But as John says, definitely please leave your comments down below, because we definitely want to hear what you want to say about it. And this matter is not closed at all. It's it's like McLaren's terrible season. It's the book is open. Please come and read it when you want. It will always be added to, and the matter will always be open. But it's just that I don't know, competition. It's a massive topic, and as Martin Brundle says, as I was saying for about the 50 billionth time, it will happen. But it's just not this at all.
So what's worse than Honda powering one Formula 1 team? Powering two Formula 1 teams. Yes, guys, you heard me right. Because apparently Honda aren't going to make one team miserable. They're going to make two team miserables. And apparently for 2018, that they are in talks with Sauber Formula 1 team to provide them an engine for the 2018 season and beyond that. And that is just like, this is not a lie. This is actually generally happening. They've had talks with Honda so that they actually have an engine. I mean, what's going on with the world right now? I mean, you've had Brexit in England, you've had Donald Trump becoming president of America. Now you've got Honda powering two Formula 1 teams. It's just not right, is it? Oh my word! But there is some good news to look forward to in that.
Great.
F1 Debate Show has hit 50 episodes. That's brilliant. But no. On a serious note, I mean, so we're going to try and compare the good and the bad about it, because I mean, what good can come out of this? From Sauber, but I would probably say costs is probably one of the main probably the good things as well, because Sauber obviously a team that aren't really in a good financial position, having a 2016 engine from Ferrari for this season, so obviously they're very much down on power. Can't afford this year's engine, so obviously haven't used last season's engine. And obviously as well with the other parts as well, obviously with the cars being bigger and obviously more technologically advanced. How about that? So obviously, it seems like Sauber don't have the finances to actually provide them to get them a good package to be able to compete with the likes of Mercedes and Ferrari. But obviously, if they were to go to Honda, I mean, I can't believe we're actually discussing this, because Honda in Sauber, like Honda powering 2 Formula 1 teams, that is awful. That is really, really bad. Unless they provide a brilliant 2018 engine, which I doubt that's going to happen. But no, I think Honda would provide a cheaper engine for Sauber, and obviously maybe save them a couple of pennies and maybe just develop the car for the foreseeable future. But I mean, Honda. I mean, honestly, like, obviously, they've destroyed my team. Now they're going to destroy someone else's team, in my opinion. Because I can't see Honda fixing their issues anytime soon. I really can't. I think Sauber, absolute craziness. They're crazy, they're not right in the head. However, they have to go with the cheaper option. And if Honda can provide that, then obviously they are going to go there. But, somehow, if Sauber were to say, no, actually move up the grid because of this, imagine if Sauber overtook McLaren because of this deal. I mean, how mental would that be? But on that note, Honda might be moving to Sauber and trying to get away from McLaren, because if you remember, I think a few episodes ago, we were discussing about the possibility of Honda leaving McLaren and Mercedes actually providing an engine for them. So that would be alright. But also as well, in the news this week that I seen about a couple of days ago now, is that apparently Mercedes are going to offer Honda some help to provide the engines. So if you want to put it like this, you can have it's the McLaren Honda partnering Mercedes, like McLaren Honda partnering McLaren, partnered by Mercedes. I don't know what the hell that's all about. So you can have a McLaren Honda Mercedes, Sauber Honda Mercedes. I just really don't know what that is all about. So yes, well, pretty much that's, Honda again powering 2 Formula 1 teams in 2018. I mean, what's your take?
So basically, we have discussed Honda and McLaren. So obviously, we have discussed Honda and McLaren. So obviously, McLaren Honda, obviously, in almost every single episode we have made since we came back on in 2017, 38 all the way to 50, including, well, every single of the GT preview shows that we've made. So technically they are the massive talking point. And obviously, as we've said, we have basically discussed about what kind of a train wreck they are at the moment. And yeah, they want to actually go to Sauber. Now, I mean, obviously, if they left McLaren, I'm not sure what good that would do them, because obviously, remember, they've got their partnership to kind of maintain. Do they really want to leave on such bad ground? But obviously going to Sauber, say if they went to Sauber with partner in McLaren, I mean, it's absolutely mad. It really, really is. Now, obviously, Sauber are at the moment powered by Ferrari, who are a good team, good manufacturer. Obviously, you've got, when you're running out of, massive like ones to run by. Obviously, I remember in the olden days that you had like Cosworth. They were obviously a big engine to be supplied by. Obviously, Renault as well coming forward. Now it seems to be like, well, Mercedes are the top heavy ones in the grid. They own something like 7 teams with their engines. And it's Honda's. I don't know. It's just not the kind of thing that you want to hear. It's like kind of like an April Fool's joke. I mean, we are still in April, okay? Yeah, I'll give you that one. But it's April 29th. It's not like it's not April 1st. Obviously, as I just said, and it's just a massive joke. I don't really know what to say about that. And obviously, I mean, the Mercedes thing might be actually quite good, and I'll tell you who it might be good for: Pascal Wehrlein, because obviously, as you all know, he is Mercedes' test driver. Now, when he went to Sauber, I mean, obviously, you don't have to all do this, but a bit like the Red Bull Junior program, and obviously, once you're in, that's kind of like your life, if you get what I mean. Obviously, Red Bull Junior drivers, GP2 drivers have gone through a Toro Rosso, and then gone on to Red Bull. Obviously, for example, Sebastian Vettel, other drivers as well that have gone through, obviously, like drivers that just made it to Toro Rosso, but then obviously you've got like Daniel Ricciardo, probably the most Daniel Ricciardo, and obviously Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian's moved on as well, but they are the most two like famous, if you like, that have gone through obviously that kind of route. And obviously drivers don't have to do that all the time, but then you'd think Pascal Wehrlein should have maybe gone through like a Mercedes powered team. Going to Sauber was a bit like strange because they were a Ferrari powered team. So if they say go back to Mercedes, it might actually help his like his standings in career form. But with a Honda, does that mean he's going to go to McLaren? It's bonkers. It really is. I don't even know what to say about it, really. I mean, obviously, in terms of the money perspective, I mean, there might be, but I think it's also from Honda's side. I think it might also be them trying to kind of, get like more better with Formula One, if that makes sense. They're with McLaren at the moment. They're not doing very well. If they go to Sauber and let's say they, do quite well, because it's like a fresh start for them, then they'll be like, oh, hang on a minute, Honda are actually doing like really, really well in sport. You know what I mean? If anything, it's a bit like Renault in sport. You know, you might look at things like you might look at Renault the team, and obviously in the olden days like Lotus Renault, and you might think, well, they're not doing very well. But then you'll also look at Red Bull, and obviously we all know the success of Red Bull. Obviously 4-4. You know what I mean? Like they did unbelievable. So then they'll be like, oh, hang on a minute. You know, Renault, they're good. They've got not a bad, but they've got a bad / progressive one side, but then they've got a really good one and the other, and that might be Honda. They might look in hopefully in a year or two, they might look at McLaren and they might look at Sauber and think, you know, McLaren's like our kind of B project, and then you know, how Sauber's like our good one. It might also to be like they might be wanting to test Sauber, use them as a test team for McLaren, but I reckon that it would be because obviously McLaren are
if it helps us move up the grid.
I mean, McLaren are supposed to be the team that are higher than Sauber, of course. Even though, you know, Sauber are definitely knocking at the door. You know, you think about how close they are. You know, at the moment, in you know, in previous years. I mean, last year was ridiculous. The year before that as well. You know, it's like,
this year they're above us. And none of us have scored points.
It's mad. But, I mean, they'll definitely have something worked out. You know, they'll definitely have something in the pipeline of what's actually going to happen. I don't really know, you know, what to say about this. So, okay, let's paint the picture, okay? So, basically, John, we roll into 2018, obviously, and you have McLaren Honda, and then you have Sauber Honda. Okay, so they've left Ferrari, obviously. Honda has stayed with McLaren for another year. Let's just say, you know, you have Fernando and Stoffel and Felipe and Pascal, you know, the same drivers at the same teams and that. You know, like, two questions. One, how do you think Sauber will do? And then also, how do you think, like, Sauber and McLaren, like, just Honda's two teams will do?
Well, I think it'll be a close battle to find out who's not going to finish bottom. That's pretty much it. No, because, you know, I don't want to criticise Honda too much for next season, because you honestly, you never ever know. This might be Sauber's breakthrough seasons. They might move up the grid and we might come with them. Like honestly, you're probably looking at us going, what? What's going on there? Is he right in the head? But, like, seriously, you can't tell who's going to win the Drivers' Championship next season. You can't tell who's going to be the what?
No, I said no. No. But also, I was going to say also as well.
What? He knows.
No. Oh yeah, Pascal Wehrlein. But as John says, don't count your chickens too soon.
Yes.
They haven't said in a long time, actually.
I didn't say more this season. Yeah, I do. Yes. Don't count your chickens too soon, because Honda might have this engine that moves McLaren up the grid, which, if there is any F1 gods up there, please.
Well, if there is any F1 gods out there, they're definitely not on your side, or McLaren Honda's side at that.
They're not, are they? Which, you know, come on, like, what's going on there? But also as well, on that note, you know, from getting Honda partnering with Sauber, you know, that could maybe help them progress and maybe knowledge that bit more from the Sauber side, possibly. So now they're working with two Formula 1 teams just to try and gain a bit more knowledge, to then maybe try and improve the engines for, say, 2019, 2020, because I mean, I think the engine regulations change in 2021, don't they? So maybe Honda might have an idea for then. Which, to be honest with you, I don't want to see McLaren being on this kind of form from now till 2021. So Honda need to pick up their idea. So either pick up the pace or get out. Simple as that. That's all. And
also as well, just one last thing, okay, on McLaren. We haven't said this in a long time, but basically I remember saying to you a stat, okay? And I said to you, okay, so obviously Williams in the olden days, okay, so obviously in the olden days, their last win was Juan Pablo Montoya in 2004. Brazil, I believe, but it was definitely 2004. Yeah. Then their next win after that was obviously Pascal Maldonado in Spain 2012. So that was an 8-year gap. And I remember then people were saying, like, obviously, you know, 8 years, not that long. But then now McLaren, their last win within Brazil 2012, they have to, if they win a race before, let's say, Brazil 2020 or November 2020, they will beat Williams in terms of the gap. You know what I mean? It won't be too bad. And then at least people can say, oh, well, Williams' gap was worse, guys. So basically, there we go. Then McLaren have to win a race before November 2020. So obviously, 2021, as John's just said, is way too late.
It is.
Just that's something McLaren have to do if they want to beat, you know, Williams' like stat. So there we go. Just a random stat attack of the day, guys. So guys, thank you very much for watching this episode 50 of the F1 Debate. And my God, we've actually got there. It's insane.
Brilliant.
Thankfully. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed 50 episodes and obviously all of our other stuff, like all our other mini-series, which obviously was such a success last year. Obviously, I hope you're also enjoying the GP preview show. So obviously, please check out GP preview show episode 4, around 4 even, which obviously was Russia, which came out on Thursday. That was obviously previewing the race at the Sochi Autodrome. Obviously, the race that's the race weekend that we are in at the moment. Round 4. I mean, you know, the Formula 1 season is flying over. If you think about it like that, you know, it's really, you know, crazy, really. Anyway, so obviously, make sure you go and check that out. Obviously, we've got loads more coming. Obviously, around round 5 in Spain in a few weeks' time, and then episode 51 next Saturday. So it's all go in the second half of the F1 debate shows, live if you like, before obviously we hit the 100. If this is the first time you're seeing us two on the screens, I hope you've enjoyed. And make sure to like and subscribe to the F1 Debate Show. Obviously, we really appreciate every subscription we can. And make sure, because we would love to climb that YouTube ladder in terms of subscribers. So thank you very much for watching this episode. Until next time, guys, see you later.
See you later, guys.
You still going?
I've got nothing.
Okay.